They hate when you elevate. They stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. Yeah. They hate.
ATP, what it do? It's your boy Clay Moore. Ran back at you guys with another one. Salute to all my subscribers. It's been a minute. I know, I've been trying to get consistent with all this content, trying to stay on top of the game, but I do have things I'm doing outside of this, you know what I mean? And this isn't paying the bills necessarily, so we're doing what we can do, getting the free time and trying to use it as efficiently as possible. So thank you for your patience with me. Shout out to my subscribers. If this is your first time tapping into the content, I am going to invite you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, guys, as well. Let's make sure we do that as well to keep this in the algorithm. I appreciate all the support, all the subscribers who have stood tall next to me on this one. So, look, man, let's talk about it. Gervonta Tank Davis, Paulie Malignaggi made a video, actually an interview he did with Fight Hub or Fight Hype. Was it Fight Hub or Fight Hype? One of those guys. Shout out to both those platforms, huge platforms, millions of subscribers on both of those platforms, doing a great justice, a great service for the sport. I was watching this interview regardless of the fact with Paulie Malignaggi, who was speaking on, it looks like he was being asked questions about the state of boxing right now, but putting his crosshairs on the resume of Gervonta Tank Davis. Being that Gervonta Tank Davis is a face of boxing, maybe the face of boxing, you can argue it either way how you want to look at it. Me personally, I think Canelo Alvarez probably is the face of boxing, but Tank Davis does hold the weight as far as having the fan base, having the supporters. Tank fans are different from any other fans in the space. I mean, when you're talking about a supportive unit of people, it doesn't get too much better than the Tank Davis fans. But that being said, Paulie Malignaggi speaking on the fact of his resume, on what he's accomplished, what he could be accomplishing, and giving his perspective on it as somebody who's a two-time champion in boxing, retired at this point. But who knows? Maybe even one day he might make it into the Hall of Fame, right? Paulie definitely has experience in the game to share his opinion. His opinion is going to hold some weight, and it's shaking up the whole entire space right now. The algorithm is going crazy as everybody starts to think about Tank Davis's resume, and they're speaking about this. Why? Because Tank is talking about potentially retiring after this year of 2025. Said he's done with the business of boxing. It's a business that he's not very fond of right now, and it's throwing people for a little bit of a curveball. Because why? Tank hasn't fought certain fights, right? Certain fights in his particular division of 135 pounds, where he's currently holding a WBA title at, and they want to see Tank compete with the best of the best competition that's out there. And it seems like when we're talking about that, we're talking about Vasily Lomachenko, we're talking about Shakur Stevenson, maybe even a Keyshawn Davis if he does what he needs to do on February 14th against Dennis Baranchek and becomes a WBO champion. Bottom line is they want to see Tank Davis do something special. They don't feel like he's done enough of that yet. Tank fans will speak to you about accomplishments he's done, beating Jose Pedraza and becoming a champion, or even going up in weight to fight a Mario Barrios, or pulling up a Leo Santa Cruz up in weight to fight him as well. All great fights in their own right? All great fights in their own right, but still wanting to see him go for something a little bit greater. Let's see him unify in 135 pounds, fight his fellow champions, the peers in the space right now, and let's see him show and prove on what most people think is the truth about Tank Davis, including yours truly, right? I definitely believe that Tank Davis is one of those guys. I think the eye test says that he's one of the best fighters in the space today, but we can't give people accolades for things they haven't done, right? We can't celebrate Tank Davis beating Shakur Stevenson until he does it, or with a Vasily Lomachenko, or with the Keyshawn Davis, or him going up in weight to fight a Teofimo Lopez, or other fights that people are interested in seeing Tank Davis being challenged at the highest level and seeing him overcome those challenges before they actually give him the crown, before they actually crown him a face of boxing, or the best pound for pound boxer in the space today. Well, I've been running it through my mind, trying to figure out, with Tank Davis, what's the best solution for him at this point? It doesn't seem like anything he does is going to please his space. I'll be honest with you guys and say that, as critical as I've been of Gervonta Tank Davis and his lack of motivation to want to fight these big fights, he's done what he's done. But what is it going to take for him to actually get the accolade, for him to actually get the head nod from the boxing space to say, you've done well, and we're ready to move on from you and give you the respect that you deserve, maybe get you to the Hall of Fame, or speak of you in the same conversations of a Terrence Bud Crawford or a Canelo Alvarez or Alexander Usyk? It seems like Tank Davis could do those things. He could accomplish those things, but at the same time, Tank Davis is not holding back his words. Let the whole boxing space in the world know that he's not really interested in those things. Those things really don't move the needle for him. He's where he's at, and he's trying to make as much money as he can to take care of his family, not necessarily please the fans of boxing per se. But here's what I'm seeing from Tank Davis. I'm noticing the pulling up from weight, right? You're seeing Lamont Roski being pulled up as a champion from 130 pounds to compete with Gervonta Tank Davis at 135 pounds to challenge him for his titles. You see what he's done with Hector Garcia. You've seen what he's done with Leo Santa Cruz. And it does start to get to the point to where the Tank Davis fans will always bring up to you how small Tank is. That Tank is not big enough to go up to 140 pounds and compete with the best of the best at 140 pounds. That we're asking too much of him. We want him to fight everybody. We want him to be the David to all the Goliaths in the game, right? The game is Goliath. Every other boxer he's fighting against is Goliath. He's David. He's knocking him down with one stone, and we're not respecting what he's done at this point. Here's my question for the boxing space. Is Tank Davis an actual 130-pound boxer who's fighting at 135 pounds? I think it's significant. I think it's a legitimate question, because at the end of the day, if Tank Davis' actual accomplishments and his actual accolades and his legacy is sitting at 130 pounds, then maybe we should be pushing for Tank Davis to cut that weight and fight down at 130 pounds. I mean, are we supposed to see Tank Davis in front of a O'Shaquie Foster? Are we supposed to see him against Lamont Roach? Are we supposed to see him against a Raymond Ford? Are we supposed to see him in front of I was going to say Ray Vargas, but not Ray Vargas. Who's the WBC champion? Well, we got O'Shaquie. We've got Emmanuel Navarrete. Is that who we're supposed to see him against? Right? The WBO champion, Emmanuel Navarrete. These questions are starting to surface right now, because at some point, something's got to give. The rubber has to meet the road somewhere. If Tank Davis is going to go ahead and check these boxes and accomplish this legacy that all the fans in boxing want to see, maybe not his fans per se, because it does seem like his fans are okay with what Tank has done thus far. In other words, if Tank were to retire today, how would you look at his resume? And if indeed you want to see him accomplish these accolades, is it realistic at this point to see Tank Davis do it at 135 pounds? You guys let me know. I'm sure you will in the comment section of what the actual solution is. But where I stand is, if Tank Davis is able to go ahead and cut that weight, go down to 130, compete at the highest level by challenging all the champions in that space, gaining belts, gaining notoriety, maybe even achieving some undisputed status, maybe that might be the solution to the problem. I'm not too sure, but I'm going to tell you like this. If Tank Davis does decide to retire today, the scrutiny will always be there. Paulie Malignaggi was hitting it right on the nail. You guys can be upset with Paulie. You can have your opinions on him as far as if he's a racist or whatever have you. Is he a bigot or is he prejudiced? That's okay. That's anybody and everybody's personal opinion about this man. But I can tell you what he spoke on yesterday on this interview was all of nothing but the truth, in my opinion. You have to relate and understand where he's coming from. He wasn't speaking anything crazy, just simply asking for the best fighter in the world to show and prove to his fans that he's the best fighter by fighting the best competition out there. He might have said it in so many words, but at the end of the day, it culminated to that truth. And Tank Davis looking like he's comfortable with the whole idea of moving on from his career, making the money he's made, and being successful and being able to go ahead and take care of his family. And his fans will tell you in a second, Tank is not interested in the legacy. Tank wants to go ahead. He made it out of Baltimore, made it out of slums of Baltimore, out of some real adversity. And now he's living in a mansion in Florida somewhere, taking care of all of his family members. And that within itself is a victory. Well, look, Congratulations, Tank. I could definitely appreciate that. And, we definitely congratulate you on being able to achieve that. But as boxing fans, it's not really our job, or we really not interested in just celebrating you making it out of gunshots and drug infested neighborhoods and taking care of your family. That can be, we can give you credit for that. But at the end of the day, if we're going to judge you, it's going to be on a boxing criteria. It's going to be all about what did Tank Davis accomplish in boxing. And up until now, right now, the things that he's done have been okay. They've been okay, but we know he can do better. The question is, at what point will Tank Davis go ahead and make that a priority for himself to prove himself amongst his fans, amongst the people that support him, the people who think that he can? Will he show them that he will? Time will tell that story. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, because I think it's very, very interesting at this point to speak on a very truthful level, to say that Tank Davis is getting pressure put on him. And although the fans are going to want to put the pressure back on all of the people who are putting pressure on him, at what point do you guys turn around, look at Tank Davis and say, what are you going to give us as fans of you who've been supporting you for years, spending money on your pay-per-view, spending money to go to your fights and do all these things, because we love to see you perform, because you're such an exciting, explosive entertainer. The things you're doing in the ring are amazing. But at the end of the day, we want to see what that looks like stylistically in front of the right competitor, in front of the right opponent. What point will Gervonta Tank Davis do that? And maybe the most important question is, at what point will the fans of Gervonta Tank Davis ask for the same thing? At this point, I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and put that in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Should we leave Tank alone? Has he done enough to go ahead and get the respect and garner the respect of his peers in the boxing space? Or are you guys still looking for Tank to do something great? Let me know what you think. It's your boy Clayton Rain. Once again, shout out to all my subscribers. Thank you guys for all the support. If you guys are first time seeing this content, I'm gonna invite you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well, so you are getting all the alerts when all this content is dropping. But at this point, love you guys. Can't wait to speak on the next topic. We're looking at David Benavidez and David Morrell going into this weekend. Look out for the video on that. We'll talk about that. You guys will let me know what you think in the comment section. But at this point, until the next episode, you out.